Good afternoon. This is News Hour Live on GT News and also streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Now, 309 newly recruits of the Ghana Armed Forces have passed out. The Deputy Commandant of the Ghana Armed Forces Staff and Command College, Brigadier General Keti Abbas Seidu, entreated the recruits to uphold the integrity of their profession and protect lives and property. The 321 recruits were made up of 122 males and 198 females. They were taken through the basics but comprehensive military training, which included physical training, tactics, handling of weapons, drill, military laws, map reading, fieldcraft, first aid and liberal education. Out of the total number, 11 were unable to complete the course due to medical reasons, whilst others were expelled for indiscipline during the period of training. The highest happiness as they present act. The reviewing officer and Deputy Commandant of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Brigadier General Keti Abbas, said the Ghana Armed Forces over the years has couched a respectable name for itself through discipline, self-sacrifice, dedication to duty, courage, honesty, and above all, respect for the Constitution. He urged the new recruits to observe the laws of Ghana and uphold the integrity of their profession.
Let me remind you that as soldiers, we are not above any laws in the country. As soldiers, we are subject to the Constitution. Soldiers are not collectors. We are not collectors. Neither are we recruitment leaders for the Ghana Forces or for any organization. As soldiers, we cannot deploy ourselves as bodyguards or security details to any private individual without permission from appropriate authority.
Those who excelled in various disciplines were awarded. Ms. Joy Sokpe was adjudged the overall best recruit and was presented with a certificate, T-set, and a plaque. Mr. Gilbert Ameuga took home the best in voice, best in weapon training, best in map reading, and best in academics. Now, the Ministry of Transport has commenced a process to review the Road Traffic Act at 683 and the Road Traffic Regulations OI 2180. The move is part of ongoing interventions to keep up with the changing trends in the road transport industry and also help reduce carnage on the roads. The Minister for Transport, Mr. Kweku Ofisiama, announced this at the inauguration of newly built office accommodation for the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority at Obuasi in the Ashanti region.
The Obuasi office of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, was one of the first district offices to be established in the Ashanti region, basically to bring the services of the authority closer to its clientele. The authority initially operated from a 2-unit office block which was provided by the Obuasi Municipal Assembly. As patronage of its services grew, extensions were made to the existing facility to meet growing demand. The board chair of DVLA, Mr. Frank Davis, said the authority is poised to provide quick services to its clients in the shortest possible time. The chief executive of DVLA, Mr. Kwesi Ajiman, announced some innovations to be implemented by the authority soon.
On the driver's side of our mandate to improve road safety and thereby driver competency, we will implement the upgrade of computer-based tests in the next few months. A voice-over touch screen, which will include 6 vernacular languages, Twi, Ewe, Nzima, Hausa, Ga, and Dagban. There will be compulsory refresher training for all motorcycle riders, and a unique commercial driver license will be introduced.
The Minister for Transport, Mr. Kweku Ofori-Esiama, called for a collaborative effort between the DVLA, the National Road Safety Authority, and the Motor Traffic and Transport Department, MTTD, of the Ghana Police Service in the enforcement of road traffic regulations.
It is also important the DVLA collaborate more closely with the National Road Safety Authority and the MTTD to intensify enforcement activities and scale up road safety education and awareness programs. It is my fervent hope that we can count on the support and cooperation of all stakeholders to make our roads safe for all.
The primary objective of the DVLA is to promote good driving standards in the country and to ensure that vehicles that ply the roads are roadworthy. Now, about 60 MMDCs drawn from the central, western and eastern regions are being trained to improve on their performance and development at the local level. The training program was under the auspices of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. The sector minister, Mr. Dan Botre, believes the orientation will propel the MMDCs to deliver on the development agenda of government. The participants were taken through policy analysis, government flagship projects and community development. The Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Mr. Dan Botre, entreated the MMDCs to be guided by the Assembly's policies and interventions to enhance development at the local level. He reiterated the President's vision to deepen decentralization and also improve on the well-being of the citizenry.
Act 936, and let me say that we also want to get the media and other stakeholders involved to understand what Act 936 is. That's the Local Governance Act. For example, before you go to local assembly meeting, you should have met people in your locality before you attend assembly meeting. When you close for the assembly meeting, you should meet them and let them understand. When you do that thing, this will be the people feeling that government is far away from the people will reduce. So the people don't say government be president and the ministers. No. When you say local governance, each person down in a unit committee area should feel the presence of government. And government is not necessarily the party government, it's the whole structure from the unit committee up to the presidency.
The head of the local government service, Dr. Nana Tuatha, was hopeful that the orientation will build the capacities of the MMDCs to create the needed synergy among staff of the various assemblies and their MMDCs.
I want to talk about leadership in the various MMDs is the DCs and the district coordinating directors. The DC, as per Act 936 and the 1993 Constitution, is both the administrative and executive head of the assembly. The coordinating director, in a way, is also administrative head. And for that matter, there's a need for a synergy between these two and also amongst the staff. Today, for instance, we hear a lot of DCs, their staff are not doing well, this and that. It's incumbent on us to also make sure that the staff are very professional.
The 3-day zonal orientation program will tackle the management of metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies as a business to promote livable cities and towns, greening Ghana and climate change adaptation, and overview of chief executive performances. Access to improved quality health and education are of major concern to stakeholders and religious bodies in the Upper East region. The Navrongo-Bolgatanga Diocesan Development Organization has therefore organized an education and health infrastructure development program for selected schools and health facilities from the Upper East and Northeast regions. Validation program, the focus was to discuss the problem and to find ways to improve families and children's access to quality education, health, livelihoods, and social justice in the Diocese of Navrongo-Bolgatanga.
The stakeholders were drawn from the Catholic Health Services, the Catholic Education Directorate, Catholic Schools and the School Management Committee and the Community Health Committee all over the diocese. The Human Development Coordinator of the Navrongo-Bolgatanga Diocese, Mr. Joseph Ayimbela, told GBC News that findings at the program showed that over 80% of schools in the Upper East and Northeast regions do not have access to enough classroom space, furniture and textbooks that will improve children's learning. He called on the government to support in these areas.
A key issue that came up and working on governments about the textbooks. Children go to school, they have no textbooks to learn. Teachers are given to only the guide, and that's from the guide they will extract. And most of the teachers even find it difficult to interpret the guide. So within this hampers the learning of our children in the schools, and government must act quickly to release the textbooks for all the schools, both primary and the junior high schools.
The primary health care coordinator for Navrongo-Bolgatanga, who led the team to conduct the baseline survey, Mr. Peter Ayamba Akudugu, complained about the inability of health facilities to have access to health insurance claims. He said the various health facilities had less than 3 months reimbursement claims for the year 2021. This, he said, was a major barrier to proper health care delivery in the diocese.
Almost all the facilities had less than 3 months of payment. In fact, the health committees didn't know of this because they have realized that in a time they go to the facilities, they were not getting some of the drugs they needed, or they will write prescriptions for them to go somewhere and buy. And that is a worrying situation for most of the facilities.
Participants gave unsatisfactory reports regarding infrastructure and capitation grants for schools and equipment for the health facilities. They appealed to the government to support the church in its quest to deliver quality health and education for the benefit of the poor in society and to give support to the government's agenda. You're watching News Hour live on GBC News and on GTV. Now, the Ministry of Health has received 461 units of gold chain equipment to support Ghana's COVID-19 vaccine storage drive. The items, worth $1 million, are from Vodafone Global and include freezers, refrigerators, gold boxes, carriers, among others.
Per UNICEF recommendations, vaccines must be continuously stored at a limited temperature range from the time of manufacture till they are used. This is because temperatures that are too high or too low can cause the vaccine to lose its potency. This makes cold chain equipment very crucial to ensure vaccines work effectively and efficiently. The items donated are 461 cold chain units. This includes 275 vaccine freezers, 184 ice-line combination of refrigerators, and 2 walk-in cold rooms. The chief executive of Vodafone Ghana, Madam Patricia Obonai, said the equipment will build Ghana's capacity to extend vaccination to the unvaccinated.
The equipment is valued at $1 million. This is to complement the government's efforts, especially in achieving this target of vaccinating 20 million Ghanaians by April 2022, as it will boost storage and delivery of COVID-19 vaccines across the country.
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Mr. Patrick Kumar-Boaji, said the cold chain equipment will support the drive to achieve the 20 million vaccination target in the country. The Minister for Health, Mr. Kweku Ajiman-Menu, called for strategic partnership with corporate bodies in the country to bring the coronavirus under control.
If we want to achieve universal health coverage, we all understand what it is. We should begin to form or get ourselves into strategic partnerships. And I believe you understand that.
Madam Patricia Obonai promised Health with its commitment to partner with the Ministry of Health to achieve universal health coverage in the country.
The Ghana Red Cross Society has donated over 1 million Ghana cedis to the Apiata Support Fund. It has also launched a relief support for victims of the explosion with funding from the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent.
Ghana Red Cross Society is a leading volunteer-based humanitarian organization which provides relief and support to community development and projects. The donation of 1,174,706 Ghana cedis is to assist 400 households and 2,000 people affected by the explosion. It is to cater for their shelter, first aid, health and hygiene through a one-off unrestricted cash disbursement. The president of the Ghana Red Cross Society, Mr. Kwame Jima Akwafo, said the society has dispatched a team to offer support to the victims. The Ghana Red Cross Society says it will continue to implement government's efforts to bring relief to the vulnerable in society.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Ambulance Service, Professor Ahmed Nuhu Zakaria, has commended government and Parliament for the speedy passage of the National Ambulance Service Bill last year. The bill provides the legal regime that establishes the National Ambulance and effective administration and management of emergency care services. Professor Zakaria was speaking at the regional administrative managers of the National Ambulance Service at Kumasi in the Ashanti region.
Actually, we didn't have any training school. We were just parasiting at the Fire Academy Training Center in Jamestown. And we had challenges even doing training. Sometimes we are ready to train, but we have to call up the training because fire service will also be doing training. But through the instrumentality of management, we've been able to acquire our own paramedic and emergency care training school. And it is not just the only one in Africa, in Ghana, but it's the only one in the whole of the West African sub-region. You may also recall the service started just like a directorate under the Ministry of Health, and specifically under the Directorate of what we call the PPME, policy, what we call it, planning, monitoring, and evaluation, if you remember. What we did was just to make sure that we're able to get some level of autonomy. We started working on the bill that will definitely give us that autonomy. And thanks be to God, last year the bill was passed. So the service is no longer just an ordinary directorate, but it has now attained the status of an agency. And this also deserves some applause.
A philanthropist, Samaria Mensah, has presented some teaching and learning materials to the Street Academy in Accra. Ms. Mensah said she hopes to create the opportunity for more street children within the Arts Center and Jamestown Enclave to be enrolled at the Academy.
Philanthropist Samaria Mensah is the current Miss Ebony UK 2021. She plans to do more in the area of humanitarianism, and this is the first in a series of donations to the Academy to improve on teaching and learning at the school. The Street Academy operates using the agency, inclusion, development and socialization aids approach, where every child needs support, has access to programs to ensure development and socializes to be culturally accepted in society. This support include exercise books, pens, pencils, crayons, among others. The winner of the Miss Ebony UK 2021 says the smiles on the faces of the students has motivated her to do more to assist the Academy. The director of the Street Academy, Atalati, said thank you. He said due to the coronavirus, the Academy can only cater for 52 children. He assured that the Academy will enroll more street children when COVID-19 is successfully combated. The Street Academy has been in existence for the past 25 years. It uses education through culture and sports to expose the hidden talent of the less privileged children on the streets of Accra.
The Kingsway cluster of schools now has a modern ICT center and infirmary. The facilities were renovated by the Member of Parliament for Okankwe South, Ms. Dakwa Newman.
The
Kingsway cluster of schools has been adopted by the Member of Parliament for Kingsway South, Madame Dakoa Newman. The MP says she adopted the school to improve on the level of education and facilities at the school because it was lagging behind. She does that through the support of corporate institutions in the constituency. The ICT Center will give the government's efforts to equip the students with the essential ICT skills and knowledge a major boost. The infirmary is equipped with medication and tools to aid treatment in the event of a medical emergency on the school premises. Madame Dakoa Newman promised to replicate similar initiatives in the constituency.
One major issue is in maintenance of these buildings, and so I would plead with the management of this school that as today we are handing over this infirmary and ICT lab to them, that they always maintain the building.
She entreated the school's management to effectively manage the facilities to ensure it serves its intended purpose for the benefit of all.
Also in this package, the Hare Krishna movement has organized special fire sacrifice prayers known as Yajna to intercede on Ghana's behalf in the face of what the movement calls the unexplainable impending calamities that their astrological revelations. The International Society for Hare Krishna Consciousness, popularly known as Hare Krishna Movement, is a branch of Hinduism. It was started in the 16th century by Sri Chaitanya of Bengal in 1486. It derives its name from its chant, Hare Krishna, which devotees repeat over and over. Basic principles of the group include strict adherence to vegetarian diet, being alcohol-free, no gambling, and avoiding illicit sex. The Hare Krishna movement was introduced in Ghana in 1981 and has a current population of an approximate 5,000. At the celebration of this year's fire sacrifice prayers, members of the movement organized a number of spiritual activities with a focus on praying for God to avert some impending disasters per their astrological revelations. According to the officiating priest, His Grace Devarashihi Das Asamoah, the universe is going through a revolution of sort, hence every nation needs purging, and this includes Ghana.
Whatever difficult situation we find ourselves, the Lord is capable of resolving the difficulty. But we have to approach Him with sincere prayers. So this performance here is a sincere attempt to invoke the mercy of the Lord for the blessings of this country and the blessing of our leaders so that we can succeed in whatever we are doing.
At the prayer session, the congregants threw grains into a lit fire whilst several powerful Vedic mantras were chanted to invoke protection, blessings and seek forgiveness from the higher beings. Symbolically, all the four corners and gates of the country were cleansed to purify them. Leaders of the country were also prayed for. According to the Hare Krishna movement, this is the first time it has decided to perform the current prayers for the nation and to make it public. Reporting for GBC News, Gifty AJ, Accra. You're still watching News Are Live on GBC News and on GTV. We also stream live on Facebook and on YouTube at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Break, and we'll be back with more stories. Please don't go away. Now let's do business. Cargo traffic at the Tema port is beginning to go up again as COVID-19 restrictions ease across the world. At the peak of the pandemic in 2020, the port only recorded 17.1 tons of cargo from January to November, but in 2021, 20.8 tons of cargo were recorded within the same period.
To curb the spread of coronavirus, many countries around the world imposed restrictions and lockdowns, with over 80% of global trade by volume and up to 70% carried on board ships and handled through seaports worldwide. The restrictions resulted in a drop in maritime mobility across all categories of commercial shipping. With few exceptions, a generally reduced activity was observed from March to June 2020 when strict restrictions were imposed. The share of ports in 2020 witnessed a significant drop in container vessels in excess of 25% globally, and the Tema port was no exception. But with easing of restrictions, cargo vessel traffic is getting back to normal. There has been a recovery in goods related to several industries such as exporting and importing. The General Manager in charge of Marketing and Public Affairs, Mrs. Esther Jebidonko, said from January to November 2021, Tema Port recorded 20.8 tons of cargo traffic compared to 17.1 tons in 2020 within the same period. Mrs. Jebidonko said the port is continuously undergoing review and investing in equipment to make it the preferred port destination in the sub-region.
Currently, we are in the region of 20.8 million tons. And then in 2020, January to November, we did around 17.1 million tons. So obviously, we've done better than we did in 2020.
The GPHA says it is working to address issues of safety and security as well as protecting the port environment from emissions at the port.
COVID-19 pandemic has led to the turnaround time of shipping vessels increasing from one destination to another. Speaking on GBC News program Market Avenue, Mr. Felix Lai, the chief executive of Felix Waters, said currently a container freight from Europe to West Africa takes over a month, unlike its previous traveling time of 2 weeks.
COVID that has just hit the whole world. That could have brought a setback in terms of shipment. And that had also some kind of challenges in the system, so that now the shipping lines mostly find it difficult to travel without loading containers. And what they do is, without having a full load of vessels, they find it difficult to travel. So sometimes they have to, it's just like having this structure going from one station to the other. And that could be one of the reasons.
Okay.
And also some reasons I know could be climatic conditions that could also affect them. So it's a huge issue that is facing the industry now. And concerning in terms of Asia, for instance, it takes about 3 months for cargo to travel all the way from Asia to West Africa. And what normally happens is that when they don't have any transit point to go to, it takes mostly about 1 month. If cargoes have to be dropped in some their main transshipment points. The transshipment point is where they leave their containers.
You're still watching news. We'll take a breather. Please stay.